flexibility. Most of the time, it did go to the jungle, but it did give players some pause on whether it really will be the jungle, which leaves second rotation a little bit more muddled in their eyes. Renekton, Ziggs, I think these are very standard bans. It's got to be the Thresh, Xinjiao. Okay, so most of these bans aren't super targeted. They're all meta bans of Gangplank. I think we might not be seeing it in this best of three just because of how dominant the Gangplank can be after his HP got bumped up. Basically, got all of the Grasp of the Undying HP that he lost back. Xinjiao, no need to talk about it. Lots of self-sustain, lots of team fighting potential as well, and the ganks are really good. Viego first picked here from Sage. Very, I mean, despite the adjustments in 11.17 to 18, Viego's still quite the powerhouse as well in the jungle. Lee Sin to match that kind of speed might be necessary here for Invicta, and it's really going to be a battle of who gets the upper hand in the jungles to enable their solo lanes.
And of course, Viego being solid is always a good choice, but with this Lee Sin pick, we already know that May just wants to go for the all-in type, especially with this Leona being picked. It seems like they wanna facilitate some sort of dive comp from the looks of it from the first two picks alone, but I'm not entirely sure yet until we see the full comp. And Aphelios making a resurface here in our recent patches and already being picked here by SageCode001. And let's see what their third pick is gonna be.
Yeah, this is kind of scary already, Aphelios plus Viego, because you don't really want... people usually shouldn't play Viego like a brawler, like an actual fighter. Usually it's better to let them go for the resets by cleaning up people that have already... champions that have already been softened up. Aphelios is perfect for that. Usually, no matter what guns he has, of course, you'd usually want Infernum plus Crescendum for team fights, but in most configurations and combinations of guns for Aphelios, and of course, if you add on top of that the set, just being able to maul somebody after tanking a few hits with a Haymaker, it sets up a perfect cleanup for the Viego. And I believe May just knows this. They know that they can't let this Viego get any, use any kills as a jumping off point for the resets. So they are going for the Shen here, the Leona, to peel or maybe to deter them from actually going in by May just going in first. Looking at our second rotation of bans, going to be the Karma, Aphelios, pretty oppressive, and of course there's that flexibility as well since mid is still open here for Sage.
Getting LeBlanc away, making sure that there is no kill pressure onto their mid lane here. Pops might not like dealing with that LeBlanc, so they probably have a pick in mind against that. And of course, the Braum being taken away here from mages. Braum really good at disengaging with the Glacial Fissure and that shield of his. And aside from that, if you randomly dive a Braum, it's a really bad idea considering the concussive blows. So they're trying to take that away. And Sage here is assuming, considering the first three picks, they're assuming it is going to be a dive heavy comp, so they ban out the Kassadin also.
So what this tells me is that Sage wants to pick up a mid laner that really does not want their lane opponent to get those roams going on, right? Like if you have the Kassadin post 6 or LeBlanc, they just clear the wave, look for somewhere where they can get a gank, maybe invade with their jungler. And with the Lee Sin Leona, that's a very easy thing to do. So perhaps it's something that either wants to have the tempo on, they want to be the ones with the initiative on the roam, or they're ones that, okay, let's just chill here in mid lane, let my jungler and my top laner do the work for me. Zoe does seem like that as well. The wave clear isn't stellar on Zoe, even with a Paddle Star damage being super high. So they could just go for this Zoe here with the... Okay. Hypercarry Aphelios with the support of a Morgana is pretty tight and allows for so much shenanigans. Their front line is kind of lacking, but I think Sage wants to just go in hard, right? They want to go in hard and finish the fight before Mages can get a foothold. And it does seem like a foothold is what Mages wants. Whether they lock in the Azir or... Okay, so they're not... So if they go for the Orianna here, their team fighting is a little better and they can respond better to Sage. I would have actually liked to see an Azir or Cassio being picked up here, because it would prevent a lot of it would block a lot of Sage's entry with the set and with the Viego. Just lock them up from a fight for like 2 seconds is possible if they don't have flash. But the Orianna here, I think they put their eggs in one basket here, in the Jacob basket,
Yep.
but they have a lot more ways to react with a shockwave for sure.
And let's be honest, it is somewhat of a good strategy simply because of the fact that we've already seen how Jacob performed in the last
Hmm.
season. He was an absolute beast on this Kaisa. The fact that the Kaisa went under everyone's
Hmm.
noses means that they have all the chances in the world to really make this comp work. And once I noticed that they picked the Oriana because they want to facilitate some sort of initiation.
Hmm.
From the looks of the Azir, from the looks of like the Cassiopeia, they either were thinking, oh, can we have somebody who can fend themselves off, fend for themselves
Hmm.
a bit better, or do we want something that can go all in initiation? But Oriana is a perfect balance of like being
Hmm.
able to fend for yourself and being able to
Yeah.
facilitate an initiation with either a Lee Sin, Leona, or a Shen. So MGS Mages here has a pretty standard front to back kind of fight comp from the looks of it. I thought they were going to go full on dive, but it seems they are going to go for something a bit more standard. And Sage right now is honestly like strong. There's so much strong pickoff potential here with the form of the Zoe.
Oh yeah.
Every single time that the bubble comes in, you're gonna find out the hard way not to be alone in the jungle with like a single bubble pickoff. If Set finds you in the brush, or
Get
let's be honest,
kidnapped.
more yeah, getting kidnapped, and Morgana over here, a single binding can really change the lives of many people. But aside from that, they also have a really good anti dive in the form of Set, simply
Yeah.
because of the
Deny the
ult.
ball delivery.
Yeah, deny the
Uh,
ball delivery with the RKO. Pretty simple on
mhm.
paper, but it's hard to time. So let's see how Sage can do that.
Yeah, I do think that Sage, this is definitely in their style. Be able to go in, finish the fight fast before that mages can react. As for the mages, yes, this comp is quite well balanced. The one thing that really irks me here is the Kaisa. Yes, it is. Kaisa is like a Jacob classic signature, but rather Kaisa was meta like during season 2. In season 3 of NCO 11, in the this later stages of season 11, it's hard to make this Kai'Sa work. The range is so low if you look at the popular bot lane picks here. Varus, Aphelios, Ezreal, even Tristana all outrange this Kai'Sa here. And he's gonna have to work hard. And Admit's gonna have to work doubly as hard here on this Leona to make this work, to get those dives going with a Morgana being picked up. The Leona isn't going to stick as well. Because I'm for sure
Mhm,
Pards and Shinzo, they're not gonna be close to each other.
mhm.
Shinzo's just gonna stay in Black Shield range. So if Admit gets a Zenith Blade on Pards, he's just gonna go for the Black Shield and he's safe. And he won't be close enough for Admit to go for a follow up stun and change targets during the commitment. So it's gonna be very hard to make this bot lane work. Invicta's gonna have to really allocate some resources in that bot lane if they want to force kills in that bot lane and enable this Kaisa to get going.
And hopefully they do, because MGS Mages, let's be honest here, the first game is a statement, and you want to make a really, really strong statement. And once again, these two teams have so much to prove, especially in
Hmm.
this first bracket. I'm just gonna be dumbfounded. I'm gonna be sad that knowing that one of these teams has to get knocked out, has to go home. Nobody
Hmm.
can not no two teams can win. Only one can stand and go further in our national campus open. And really, it's gonna be a massive, massive fight. It's gonna be a bloodbath. That's what I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And it is single eliminations. The good thing is that it is a best of 3. So there's this
Mhm.
silver lining where after you get your first loss, your back's already to the wall, but you can turn the momentum around. I think best of 3s are all about that momentum and getting you get that advantage back into game 3 if you're forced into that position. But of course, these are the best from one of the best or two of the best from two different regions here, Vismin and the Metro. Let's see if the Mages can handle well. I think out of the teams that we're seeing in the quarterfinals, the Mapua squad, the Mages had the most drastic roster change. So I do think that having Jacob and Victor still be on there is definitely important. But the thing is, like Uni is now a sub here, So they're pretty much left with 2 out of 5 with 3 new members. And let's hope that in the past few months, they've been building up that camaraderie, that bond, that synergy between this roster as well. And as for USA, uh, this is in despite the rosters being changed, they still have their coaches. They still have Lunik giving them the pointers. The draft, and this draft is well crafted. I think they definitely have something in mind here. But of course, we've loaded onto the Rift here. USA Sage Code 001 versus Mapua University MGS Mages.
Let's see, indeed, because right now it seems like it's just gonna be a how do I describe it? An EU defense, the usual,
Mhm.
your usual shebang right here. Nobody's gonna go for late invades. They're probably just gonna fight for vision, and it seems that Cyanide looking for something to poke upon, but instead meets Yuma in the bush right there, and I don't think that's what you wanna meet that early, but it's just a little bit of damage and immediately gets zoned away from the creep simply because of the early trade that he had nothing to be part of. And now it's gonna be in mid lane here. Easy trades between the Oriana and the Zoe. Not a lot of things happening, as we could see that the jungle is also keeping themselves a little kosher for now, keeping it simple, keeping it clean, and just going for full clears left and right.
You do want to be able to power farm that as that Viego, and of course Lee Sin's clear is pretty good. I think Yuma is doing good work here topside. Level 1 is the strongest you'll probably ever be in pre-6 against a set as a Shen here. So he knows that before level 2, before he gets Facebreaker and Haymaker, he's going to go for those trades. Yeah, really leveraging that as well. Haymaker's going to make this trade really, really painful, though.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness, that
Had to
was
burn
a
the Ignite.
Yep, that was a panic ignite, if anything, because I don't think that would have like discouraged Cyanide anyways, any further, considering the fact that I think all he wanted was some early damage, and now the binding does land here against Admit, but no follow up whatsoever, considering it is still level 2 and they are a bit pushed in. But Invicto waiting in the bushes, and they meet the jungler at the side, but the Facebreaker comes in, and there's the Spirit's Refuge, and aside from that, the flash, the Haymaker, and that's gonna be big for the first blood here for Cyanide, and Yuma has to walk away as Invicta. It has already been taken down, and are they gonna follow up? They are not. Instead, it is just going to be a few pushes here and there, and pops the TP, but it doesn't matter. That was a lot of control in favor of Sage.
When that taunt missed, it should have been the signal to stop, but they were already too deep in because Rush was already around the corner, so they were forced to commit, go into that. That was a very nice Haymaker, very balanced champion, by the way. Just be able to dodge that last bit of damage from Invicta there. And I think, yeah, MU put themselves in a position where they had to go in, but it wasn't sure, where rather they were guaranteed to have to go in, but the games weren't guaranteed there. So that actually gave them first blood, and actually might have killed the lane here for Yuma. Not having the teleport means that he had to walk all the way back. You know, Cyanide was just like, fine, and even save this teleport there, possibly for a player just to get back to lane, which would really help him out in his tempo after clearing this wave.
That ignite, that ignite would have helped Yuma
Mhm.
over there, but instead, of course, the little panic ignite start was already like the sign that they were gonna go for the counter gank. It was just so unfortunate. I think it was the timing of like both ganks. Invicta decided to gank immediately just after Rush was behind, and the moment he saw that, he realized, oh, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna have to go for the all-in, despite the fact that the taunt missed. So it really was an unfortunate series of events. Of course, the Zenith Blade here from Admit missing, and right now Sage's bot lane and top lane are looking for blood, and they are pushing in. They do have a lot of control in the map for the side lanes here.
But the taunt does
come in, and now Cyanide has to back away. He has no flash. This is going to be an easy gank whatsoever. There's nothing else he can do. Facebreaker, sure, you could do that. But instead, he walks away with a sliver of health. This man survives. He's a survivor. You got to put the song up there, and goodness gracious,
He's going for
still living.
Biggest thing there was the Haymaker timing, as well as a crucial positioning mistake there by Yuma and Invicta. They thought that the gank was already in the bank. They didn't really think twice about their positioning, but bam, Facebreaker buys just enough time with the stun for them to get out. If they weren't lined up like that, it would have been much harder for Cyanide to get away there. But here, once again, keeping up the tempo of this lane. Gets pushed out, but he's able to teleport back, doesn't lose too much. Yuma has to ignite. He's gonna have to leverage this again. The gap in terms of gold isn't too big considering what happened, and Cyanide only had an assist from that first blood. But still, he's gonna have to leverage this ignite as much as he can to make this worth it. Otherwise, it's not gonna go through. Even if he does have his stand united later. And as for the spot lane, yeah, J-Coin admit have to respect the range there, especially with Pards. He was on, I believe, Gravitum Infernum for the past level or so. So they have to really respect that and not get poked out, not get locked down, because J-Koi is such low range on that Kai'Sa.
My goodness, imagine using a summoner as a poke. Like this, I love watching Zoe play. It's just insane. But now look at Cyanide. Like look at Cyanide trying to assert his dominance, and he is gonna push in, trying to deny a lot of like gold here against Yuma with all that harassment. But of course, Yuma is good at last hitting. He is a Shen after all. The Q makes it so much easier to last hit under tower, and right now we're probably gonna meet. We're probably gonna meet here in the river. There might be something breaking out here, and there it is. There's gonna be the catch. There is gonna be Sonic Wave. After that is gonna be the resonating strike, and afterwards is the stand united, forcing the flashes. And now we might see the taunt come in. After that is gonna be the shield bash. But they did stop the stand united at the side. But now Cyanide is gonna pay with the cost of his health. He has to escape. He's at 1 HP. You could literally sneeze on this man and he will die. But no, the potion, the passive. Look at all that regen, the health, the juking. And Yuma, so frustrated right now. He's looking for a second. The taunt comes in and finally they get Cyanide after a million years of chasing. And look at that, they also get, the MGS mages also get the dragon.
That's pretty big. This would mean that with their comp, because let's take a look at the replay. That was, because they didn't have full vision of where Rush and Pops they might be, where they might be, but they knew, okay, it's nearing Drake, people are moving towards it. Let's have a Zenith Blade into the dot rush there. They catch it, and they lose Rush, which was the focal point of that break. They get the Ocean, which means they can extend they can extend this laning phase a little bit, because it's gonna be J-Koi. He's gonna have a little bit of regen on that bot lane as well. Helps out with a poke that Shinzo and Pards are gonna be putting out. Allow him to stay a little bit more chill while scaling up on that Kai'Sa. It's not a game-changing Drake in that regard, but it helps to pad Jacobs here, Shinzo here. He knows that, okay, bot lane, there's no objective there other than the tower. The Rift Herald is our next apple of the eye here, and they're going to go for that, set it up. I do think that USA, if they take this will pretty much put them ahead despite losing 2 kills in the Drake. If they can leverage this Rift Herald and take like mid tower or severely take out like top plates, that could make it more worth it than the 2 kills in the Drake here. But here's Cyanide, Yuma, a little bit of ribbing between friends. Not too much damage now that he has a little bit of HP on Yuma. They do get the Rift Herald.
Yep, especially since Invicta showed up for that bot tower dive. That Pards basically he played it well. He knew when to disengage. No, he had the awareness considering the fact that there was a pink ward in the tribe rush, and just played it really well. And now USA is now on the driver's seat once again, considering they do have the Rift Herald. But once again, they're getting a little over aggressive here. And wow, the shockwave does miss, but Invicta has a rush of damage to the head, and Rush is gonna be taken out of that, and that is gonna delay their Rift Herald timing from here. But they do have it in their pockets. But right now, MGS mages making the most of every pickoff. They have punishing the greed that USA is playing, and immediately the Solar Flare forces the flash.
That was the actual flash from Pops, by the way. But yeah, another movement by Rush there that was very questionable. They didn't have full priority. They thought they had full control of the driver's wheel, right? And they tried to invade that. They get pushed out easily. Right now, Rush, this Viego isn't really in a position where he can make those moves unless both of his laners have full control. But their MU was able to, like here, Yuma and Irelie or Hillary are able to like wrestle control from Cyanide and Pops when they need to. Like when they're being invaded, Irelie and Yuma are not just gonna stand there. They can fight back, take priority, push Cyanide and Pops out, and then respond to Rush. And it's really the difference of the roster here that's manifesting right now, because Kinshi's movements from last season were a lot more clean, a lot more calculated, but it might be the experience of Rush here that's holding him back. He might need a few more fights under his belt. We're going to have to see how he moves, though, because 1-2-0 on a Viego, not ideal, but it's still still a position that's above par, I think.
It's honestly playable still, considering everything. And now, right now, one of the biggest problems is that Cyanide's not capitalizing on his didn't get to capitalize on his early lead, and Yuma absolutely equalized it, especially when Cyanide forced Yuma over there, and Rush gets caught out once again. The shockwave coming out, and now Hillary gets the massive kill against Rush and putting him down even further. But the sleep out there is not gonna follow up afterwards. But now we do have a little exchange here in the top lane, but look at how the jungle is playing out right there. They do have a lot of control, putting that control ward right there, right above. Good stuff from them, but aside from that, Rush gets caught with his pants down yet again.
And once again, picking up that Zoe, of course, it's fine, but it's not able to leverage as much priority in the mid lane as other popular mid laners. It's going to be a fight here. Top side, Pops arrives a little bit too late. Cyanide falls down. And I don't think they're going to push this too much with just Irelie and Yuma. I don't think they'll be able to get plating, so they're just going to push in the wave and get back here. USA now thinks that maybe they can leverage something with 2 members top side. Maybe they can get something mid. There's no stand united. Oh, it's going to be Rafiki. What's going to be happening here?
Oh, this is going to be big. The TPs are coming in. The first TP is going to be from MGS Mages as we see Irelie come out, and that's going to be big for them, but they do get a good pick off with the face breaker onto admit, and Invicta might be the next target, but they're looking for it, and they do go, but instead they're not going to follow through, and instead we're going to see Irelie try to go forward and try to dissuade them from taking the rest of this tower. And look at the side right here. Look at Invicta. He's so far in, but he does not follow through. So there's only going to be 1 kill in favor of USA for now.
Just for now, but that could have gone so much worse for either team there. MU, they catch, or rather they get caught by one mark on that Gravitum. That was close enough that Irelie could have been taken down there. Drake once again possibly being taken by MU. It's an investment for the future. Now here, teleports, when it comes to teleports, the team that commits first, in which case it's Sage, usually is at a disadvantage, but they're able to work it in their favor because MGS was a little bit too slow on the uptake and trying to leverage the teleport that was in their favor going behind USA, forcing them to back off behind where the teleports are going. Irelie was very, very close there. One more shot from Pards could have done it. And that just shows that Pards knows when to take opportunities. One root on the Gravitum, that's fine. Maybe you can leverage that into kill. And a 2-0 Aphelios would have been on his way to already snowballing and accelerating this game plan. Here, MU, they pick up an Infernal Drake. That's a little bit more relevant. Getting steamy here with Ocean Infernal means that this is an investment for the Kai'Sa's future.
Actually, like a slight correction, Irelie actually TP'd first, and aside from that, but that's what the reaction from Cyanide was incredibly quick, a nanosecond difference, basically.
And got a max range facebreaker too.
Yeah, and got a max range facebreaker, maximized everything, but that almost spelled disaster considering Invicta was at the flank trying to pick everyone off. He got Rush at 1 HP. At 1 HP, and that could have been like a different story altogether considering that having no Viego would mean, oh my goodness, the Zenith Blade coming out, but of course the Black Shield tries to dissuade them from doing anything else, but once again, the momentum would have shifted to MGS Mages again considering that they could scare away USA with the fact that they don't have their jungler alive. But right now, Rush has nothing to lose.
Man, Rush is crazy, man. He's 1-3-1, and he's still posturing as if he's the one that's ahead of Invicta. Invicta here, I think, could easily, like, not easily. I think he could 1v1 him if Rush is not careful. If Rush is not the one to take initiative here, and usually it will be Invicta taking initiative with a Sonic Wave, right? So I think Rush is playing a little bit too confident, considering he only has the Immortal Shield Bow right now. So let's see. First turn of the game possibly for USA. No, just shoving that in. I don't think they're on Infernum, so the wave clear's a little bit worse. But That Rift Herald, I would say, is not as worth as the 2 kills and the Drake that MU got earlier. And here they're going to try
But
and
that
take
pickoff might be what they need as we come in with the RKO coming out, and aside from that, Dragon's Rage, but the Rift Herald gets stolen! Aside from that, though, the kill is going to come out, and they're probably going to get 2 kills out of this, and they might get a lot of gold, but that's going to be a lot of map control in favor of USA later. But right now, looks like MGS Mages wants to finish off the job, wants to go for the 3rd kill, but they get 2 for 0. Well, no, 2 for Rift Herald in favor of MGS Mages. And Yuma, what are you going to do here? Are you going to go for the Ignite? This might actually kill Pops!
Oh my god. That actually kills. And that should be a big dent in this mid lane there. And I think, once again, Rush, or rather USA as a whole, kind of moving a little bit too slow from what we're used to seeing from San Agustin, right? And I think Rush, once again, dying for nothing. They did get the Herald, get the golden XP from that, but was not able to pick up the eye itself. And once again, it's MU getting the better end of the deal there. They got the Drake earlier, they got kills. USA denied the Rift Herald, but MU is still happy with what they got, pretty much.
Well, yes, as you said, it is a bit slow here on USA, but not because of the fact that their foot's not on the pedal all the time. It's just not everyone's on the same page when somebody's trying to accelerate the car, basically. From the looks of it, it seems like the rest of USA is always late to the party whenever MU is going to go for a pickoff. When somebody's deep within the enemy jungle, it seems like they're not everyone is on the same page. Not everyone follows up immediately the moment they see their teammate already at the river.
And right now, USA is in a position where MU would have been if USA was ahead, where their hopes are pretty much sent, their eggs are pretty much in the basket of the marksman role here. Pards is going to have to be the one that scales up, because right now the solo laners and the jungler for USA are the weak half of the map right now. So it's a lot harder to leverage, though. So Cyanide wasn't able to really capitalize on a small early lead. He couldn't convert that into a full lead against Yuma. Yuma was able to survive 2-0 and 4, help out his team, actually doing pretty well here. Pops as well. The Zoe is okay. Oh, he's gonna be a dive here. Is Pops gonna go
this
down?
is gonna be a big dive considering the flash and everything. Every single egg in the basket being thrown out here. And it seems like Pops might even survive at 1 HP. And it's amazing how he can survive like that. And he's still teasing a little bit and he gets the shutdown though. My goodness, Rush gets a kill. That's a big kicker coming out here. And that's gonna be a double kill coming in here for Rush and maybe a triple kill. The shutdown coming out. And this is gonna be USA showing signs of life and getting themselves a break.
Kind of a big throw there. Those are 2 important parts to that team fight. Is one, Pops was able to get away, despite him pretty much being in their sights for so long because of the ulti not really being an escape. And being able to escape, not being able to finish him off, they're put in a position where they're too deep in a choke point where it's so easy to get full damage on that Haymaker. Once again, 2 important things there. Shutdown for Rush and 2 kills, and shutdown for Cyanide. So now, this is, earlier it was like even leaning MU. Now it's still relatively even, but it's starting to tip in USA's favor here. The gold is very deceptive here right now. The shutdown gold on Rush should really resuscitate this jungler side here, and Rush has to make full use of that. USA is not undoubtedly in the lead just yet. MU can still take this back if USA doesn't play their next few minutes right, but it's something. They can use this as a stepping stone moving forward.
Yes, as you said, the gold is negligible. 1k gold lead is completely negligible, but the momentum, once again, has shifted in their favor. If there was a wake-up call, if there was something that would hype you up after, that would be a winning team fight like that. Especially since Pops escaped with the skin of his teeth. That would also absolutely destroy the mental of any lesser players. But let's see how MGS Mages deals with a bad call like that, with a bad team fight like that. Let's see how they can mentally reset against USA, who has a lot of mental momentum considering everything. And now Pops has to escape again. One slippery man he is.
That was a miss Sonic Wave, pretty much. Killed the Gak, but I don't think they would have wanted to commit anyway. Because it's just the 2 of them, Shinzo and Rush were on their way to save Pops. Yeah, I think it's better for MU that that Sonic Wave didn't hit. Just saying. But yeah, once again, even with the shutdown on Rush, they're still operating with the same problems where their mid lane isn't really able to wrestle control of the lane from Irelie, or any lane actually. Because wherever you're sending Pops, Irelie is probably clearing the wave a lot faster, and he's able to rotate to where they need this mid laner to be much faster than Pops here. Cyanide, yes, got the shutdown kill. So basically, the real score here is more like 2 or 3-3 rather than 1-3. But it's still at that point where he's not the usual ahead set that can just go in, tank damage, and then go for the haymaker, brain dead haymaker. He actually has to start playing his cards right during these team fights, getting that positioning, perfect face breakers into the perfect haymaker. So it's a little bit harder for him compared to Yuma, who just needs to do his job. He just needs to taunt someone and then ulti when someone's in trouble, and not necessarily in that order. He could ulti first and then go for the taunt, but either way, Yuma's job here is a lot easier than Cyanide's right now.
Especially since that Yuma is already building a lot of tank items rather than Cyanide. Cyanide has to skirt the line between a tank and a fighter. So you really have to play around your timings here. But now Admit does find a ward, but he doesn't commit to that. And Pops once again moving to a solo lane, trying to clear the wave, trying to dissuade anyone from pushing top lane and preventing any movement here from Yuma. But Yuma does have Stand United. Despite everything, this is just basically to keep tabs on the Shen, basically.
Pretty much, with a teleport not up for Pops though. If something does come up later in the next like 2 minutes, Pops, can he escape this?
Oh wow, what a flash here coming here from Pops, and this might be a follow-up, this might be a counter gank, and there's the bubble. Not enough from what I noticed, but the Drowsy coming in, and this might be the face breaker, but the face breaker misses. What the haymaker? Deals a lot of damage, and Admit is gonna come out. Oh my goodness, Shinzo with the hourglass, getting out the stopwatch, saving the day after the killer instinct, and this might be a big fight here for USA. 1 HP for Hillary. Is he gonna survive this? And look at that flash in from Parks, and Pop's gonna finish it off. And
this doesn't care.
The fight's getting a little too bloody for everyone here. The stakes a little too rare, sir. Can we cook it a little bit more? But no, they're going to continue the dive. The binding misses. What's going to be the next step? Facebreaker misses. And of course, Cyanide pays for the mistake. And now Shinzo has to back off. Once again, a back and forth. Everything's reset to 0. Nobody's +1, nobody's -1. It is going to have to be USA backing off. My goodness.
A little bit dangerous there. Once again, the one that commits first in a teleport is usually the one that is at a disadvantage. So here they go for the teleport. They try to go in. Cyanide is able to react with a very nice max damage of Haymaker there. And once Pards comes in, his guns are pretty bad for this engagement. I don't think they were expecting a fight around there. Gravitum's okay. I don't think I would have wanted Severum at all. I would have preferred Infernum there. I think if it was Infernum or Crescendum, MU would have been decimated at that point. But once again, they kind of teeter. Ooh, Drake not going to get stolen here. So I think MU's already threatening Cloud Soul here. Is USA going to continue this? Can they cut off MU here in this part of the jungle? Or no, they're just going to try and push them out, maybe leverage and take their chances mid lane here for another turret in their hands. Looks like that's going to come through as well. They get what they want despite not picking up any kills. MU has to back off and watch their flanks.
Yep, absolutely. And now they're going to go for a harder push right here. Yep. They're gonna push even harder here for USA. They realize they do have a little bit of extra map control. They prevented the Shen split push for 24 whole minutes right here, and it seems like they do have a lot of map control here, considering the fact that there's 2 tier 1 turrets down, which means they can control bot side jungle. The blue side jungle of MGS mages. They can put some deep wards. They could basically play around that. Even without the dragon, they can still play for pickoffs, especially since there will always be somebody in the jungle trying to clear wards, trying to clear the jungle itself. So let's see how USA is going to play around that. But right now, MGS Mages looking for a straw to grasp in terms of map control, and they decide we're going to pick up Cyanide here.
Yeah, might pick up Cyanide. They do pick up mid lane, basically evening out the map there. Cyanide's a little bit of a tough call, especially under turret.
Oh my goodness, but the Haymaker is there, but he doesn't have enough damage. He doesn't have enough shields, and that's going to be the save right there from the Stand United of Yuma, and this is going to be MU going forward, MGS Mages, going forward. But that being said, the Drowsy coming in, the Battle Star might deal damage, but it hits the tank, doesn't deal that much. And instead, we do see MGS Mages backing off for absolutely free.
Pretty much that was a premature Haymaker from Cyanide there. Didn't get the full shield. Couldn't deal as much damage back during the tower dive. I think it would have been less safe for MU if Cyanide lasted a little bit longer with a perfect Haymaker. But there, they pretty much trade back the mid lane turret and then some by getting a kill and the topside outer turret there. Map control is going to be a little bit easier for them, especially that it's a Baron side. Baron side is going to be a little bit easier for them to really posture around at that point, but still, it's a very, very close game. We looked at the gold earlier, and it was pretty much even across the board. Maybe at most the difference is like an Amp Tome or a Longsword and a half for our carries. Most of the gold is concentrated around, there's not really, I wouldn't call it a concentration, but some of it is piling up more in Aeroly's pockets more than in Jacob's. I think that's fine. I think Orianna scales pretty well as well, and Invicta really needs all those kills to keep himself relevant in the coming team fights, because as we approach the 30-minute mark, it's going to be harder for Invicta to really go for those big damaging plays. He's probably going to be used more for being an initiation tool with the Dragon's Rage, and Yuma's going to be like the vanguard for their team here.
Let's see how they're gonna play around it, considering the fact that they actually own the map a bit more now. MGS Mages, they're going back, they're going for wards here, just as USA is about to, just as Sage Esports is about to, how do I describe it? Just as they cleared the wards in their jungle, seems like MGS Mages did restock. They do have some control wards in the hands of Admit. They're probably gonna move towards controlling Baron side at this point. And it does seem like it's gonna be a tragic story if they make another massive pickoff.
Pickoffs are pretty much one thing that could break the stalemate right now. MU is also threatening Soul here, so Baron is not going to be as simple of a decision for USA when the next Drake spawns as well, and most of the attention of the team is pretty much around the Baron here.
Oh my goodness, that solar flare! Oh no, this is going to be a bit fatal. But no, the stopwatch does not matter, and they do force a flash against Admit, and that is going to be picked up by our resident Zoe using the ult to pick up the little flash blip right there.
I think Admit here still has a Hex Splash, so still could get caught, can catch people out in like Death Brush situations, but not having the flash is going to be a huge blow, and the potential for initiation here for MU. Once again, this dance is about the Baron. Even the next Drake spawning, which could be Cloud Soul, and the Cloud Soul is, more stacks for Cloud is going to be important here for MU, but I think USA is going to try and maybe start this
big
Baron
catch.
here.
Yuma gets caught forever, gets snared a million years. There's the stun. This is going to be big, so they don't have the Vanguard anymore. They don't have Stand United. They don't have a very reliable front line, considering the fact that Admit doesn't even have any HP whatsoever yet.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just resist. It's going to be the support tools, a few resistances from Locket. USA is taking this a little bit slowly. Once again, Pards' tools aren't ideal for a team fight if it does happen around Baron's side. I think they're gonna try. I think they're gonna be able to get this Baron here.
Oh, Shinzo! That's gonna be the chains coming out, and that is gonna catch one. There's gonna be the binding, and that's gonna be a catch. And once again, there's also the RKO coming in here from our set as Cyanide tries to finish off, but the Blast Cone saves the day. But instead, they get the Baron. No kills here in the side of MGS Mages, but they do have Cloud Soul now.
Cloud Soul, not as spectacular as. Let's say Infernal Soul or Mountain Soul. But I think Mountain Soul would have been really good. Mountain in general would have been really good for MU, just to make sure that they survive longer against USA. But there, I think they tried to delay the Baron as much as possible, hung around it to make sure that USA doesn't just get it for free. But once again, Yuma gets caught out, and then after that, MU tries to play hooky with the Baron here with USA to make sure that, okay, if you don't take the Baron fast enough, Yuma's gonna respawn, and stand united and we can have a good old 5v5. But I think what USA did was they just decided, okay, we're just gonna take the 5v4 right now, or turn on you, because since they were from different angles, so USA was able to pick off certain targets from MU without it being a full 4v4 or 5v4.
They went all in immediately after they saw the notification that the dragon was taken. So they decided, oh, it's safe. They don't have their Kaisa. Jacob being one of the biggest threats here for MGS mages. You know, not being in the fight, that's absolutely free for them. There's no Acathean Rain. There is no Killer Instinct to deal with, and there is no Kaisa damage that you have to be afraid of, considering the fact that there is no front line from MGS mages after that beautiful pick off against Yuma.
Shinzo was really playing with fire there. Like, he still has no death, but I think he's been the one playing with the most fire here. Aside from Rush, he's the one that's been in these dangerous positions. It was kind of dangerous. He went over the wall there, and thankfully had the Zonness, but still, it's gonna be very tough here for MU to defend against this. Their wave clear is kind of the wave clear is kind of mediocre here. And USA can start leveraging the Baron buff here at that point. They got teleport on Cyanide. They can respond if they need to. Mid lane inner is wide open for them if they want to. Just need to push in those waves.
This is gonna be incredibly hard here This is gonna be incredibly hard to. Like, it's still a stalemate. Even with the Baron, it's hard to do the Baron power play, considering the fact that it seems like USA has not committed more than one champion in top lane for more than 10 seconds from the looks of it. It seems like they're too concerned with the map being taken away from them with how everyone else in MGS Mages is pushing as a reaction towards anyone showing up in top lane.
Yeah, they pretty much decide, okay, we can't really wave clear this as well as we want if the Baron minions get to us. So let's push in the waves that aren't being Baron empowered. Let's push them in preemptively so we don't have to deal with them as early as USA would want. So now they're pretty much making sure that this Baron isn't as valuable as it is. Of course, Baron's still extremely valuable. Even if you don't get turrets with Baron, you still get so much global gold and a lot of XP. So here though, USA having a little bit of trouble leveraging this. I think they're still I think right now the play here, the play that USA is going for is, okay, we don't need to force the turrets, because forcing the turrets means that they can go for us with the Sonic Wave into Dragon's Rage or Zenith Blade, right? So I think let's play this a little bit slow. We don't have to go all in against the waves while we had the Baron. Let's just play it slow, let cards scale up, and eventually it's going to be hard for Jacob to fight back with the amount of range he has, because this Kaisa, very short range, easy pickings for Rush or Cyanide, and Pards to just snipe as well. So I think they're playing to the strengths of their comp here.
Definitely, it seems like it absolutely, and what I'm looking for now is gonna be the post Baron. What do you call this? The post Baron play, because considering everything, what the Baron did, as you said, did give them a lot of gold. But another thing is they bought a lot of time, because it forced MGS mages to be very afraid of what USA can do should they show their faces a little too haphazardly.
Yeah, it's also the psyops aspect of the Baron. Also lets you take advantage, like pushing MU in. Baron pretty much has like a not really a mechanical but a passive effect, where because you're pushing in so much easier, you have easier access to camps, you have easier access for vision as well. And here they did set up some deep vision here. I think it's going to get cleared here. It's going to get cleared here by Invicta. But once again, yeah, it's just really the basket of Pard ZQD here is the name of the game for them. They want this Aphelios to scale up because Rush and Cyanide, they're going to be the ones to really be the front here.
This is gonna be big, because they try to catch Pards out of contention here, and they do escape with a sliver of health. But now the control belongs to MGS mages for this Elder Drake, which is gonna be up in around, I'm guessing, 30 seconds or so.
Less than a minute here, which means that Pards will have enough time to get back, but USA definitely it gives MU the initiative here to control the area. Now they're gonna go for Shinzo. Okay. Jacob showing up. He's showing up. USA's initiation here, a big part of it is around Shinzo, right? Unless Pards has Gravitum, or unless Cyanide goes in with a showstopper. It's going to be hard for them to go for an initiation. So without Shinzo there, it might be hard for MU unless...
Oh my goodness! Pops, what is this idea? The shockwave does miss though. Oh my goodness, the face breaker hits 3 people. Rush is on a killing spree, but it doesn't matter, he gets shut down. No, they actually take the Aphelos. The Haymaker coming out, and the Guardian Angel gonna resurrect Rush, but it's not gonna matter at this point, because Pop's dealing only a little bit of damage. The front line taking only a little bit, and now Rush once again gets caught with a sonic wave, and this is gonna be the formalities afterwards, the drowsiness, the sleep. Afterwards, Yuma's still alive, but no, Rush is still alive, and they actually turned that around. What are they doing? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? I'm not sure entirely at this point, but right now, you look at Jacob, and Jacob is soloing. He's soloing Elder, which means they can't catch up, and they're gonna have to play around Baron instead. My goodness, this fight was so messy.
Very messy. I think MU could have done without diving that deep into mid lane inner. I think if they were trying to buy time for Jacob to whittle down the Elder Drake so they can have control of it. So if you look at it here, it all kind of falls apart after they try to force rush. Because I think right now, they could have just let... So the thing is, if you give a Viego a kill in a team fight, he's gonna start racking up even further because he gets invincibility frames during his ulti resets. So it's very hard to lock him out, which is exactly what happened with Rush there. He got 1 kill, then he ran away with it, and MU couldn't finish off the kill in the dive. I think they could have just left Rush alone. At that point, I don't think Rush is going anywhere near Elder Drake when Jacob was trying to clear it, as long as they just get pushed out.
No.
Shinzo has to be careful. He can't get caught out again because he is their main initiation tool. The only things that USA has are pick-off potential with Showstopper and the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Here, USA, can they... Oh, it doesn't seem like they're at all going for this. They might recognize that, okay, this is not our fight. We have no vision. We have no control over that area. MU can just turn on us like ravenous dogs here if we show our face on that Baron pit. So let's let them take the Baron right now. They still have... We don't want to fight them when they have Elder. Let's give it for now.
Their biggest threat, Jacob, has Elder Drake, so you don't want to deal with a Kai'Sa with Elder Drake. You already saw what Jacob did to Shinzo the last time. The last time they decided, hey, what if we just go unprotected against the Kai'Sa? Gets absolutely melted without any care in the world. They make eye contact, bam, the soul is gone, basically.
And right now, MU is really leveraging this Elder. They know that they can't, that they have an advantage here. Oh, they're gonna go in.
Catch! Pops might be dead from this. Stand United coming out.
Ooh,
and once
no,
again,
Shockwave.
Hard again, the Shockwave. Negligible at this point. But Rush might die from 1 HP, considering the fact that there is Elder Drake. There's the execution. And once again, it is going to be MGS Mages getting the superior team fight. Considering the fact that they have the Elder Drake, they might end this game right here.
Might be game. Without Russian Cyanide, there's going to be Pards, and they don't have any front line at this point. Teleport coming in from early is going to mean that they're going to be tearing down this Nexus turrets. Pards going to have to go for the last stand here. Young Rafiki, no, there's nothing to commentate anymore. They're just going to go straight for the Nexus for this game 1. They want the momentum going into this best of 3 series. And MU, they get first blood against the champions of Bisman.
That was a hard-fought match if I've ever seen one. But MGS Mages gritted their teeth, and they actually had a lot of really good early movement, catching USA, catching Sage001 with their pants down early on to get this game 1, shift the momentum in their favor. You want to talk about aggression? What about aggression after punishing over-aggression?
Yeah, definitely seems like the Metro teams, or it's not really the Metro teams because we haven't seen their performance against USA yet, but definitely MU Mages, they have a better idea now of how to deal with hyper aggression that we know from USA and we know from the Ilo teams. So I think this is a step in the right direction for Metro, but for USA, I think a big part of it is missing Kinshi. We saw that Kinshi was such a vital part of their operations in the last season as well, and Rush has kind of been rushing headlong into danger early in the game. But of course, he kind of redeemed himself getting those shutdown kills, but it gave MU too much room to play with. And later in the game, I said that, okay, maybe they're trying to leverage Aphelios' longer range than Kaisa, but with the Elder Drake, with the Cloud Soul, they can just close the gap there, just dive in. This, even with the kind of blundered Shockwave, might have been trying to Shockwave to delay Rush, but either way it missed. In the end, USA did not have the capability to face off against the front to back nature of the comp from MU that was really once again, really well balanced teams, well balanced comps perform better later in the game than other comps.
And another thing is honestly, aside from the well balanced comps,
Mhm.
the fact that the timing every single time, USA's timing has not been stellar in comparison to MGS Mages here at Game One. Simply putting together the fact that Rush was always alone rather than moving once he gets facilitated by his solo laners or his bot lane even. But most of the
Mhm.
time he was caught in the top side. It would have been better for them if he was moving
Mhm.
with them
Yeah.
rather than initiating and completely being forgotten by his team. But aside from that, that is going to be that's more of a communication issue than a skill
Mhm.
issue. So of course you can fix that in the coming
Mhm.
series.
Game two. Yeah.
You have four more games to possibly win or lose. So let's see what USA does here. It already seems like they're going to discuss this with Coach
Mhm.
Lunik. Let's see how they're like. Let's see what they're going to do as adjustment from here.
Any master lip readers here in the chat want to tell us what they're talking about? But yeah, I think it's just gonna be like once again not on the same page again. Maybe Rush thought that he had absolute backup from the rest of his team there. Okay, so now we've got Emmy here, them discussing among themselves what they're gonna do. They already did first game. Oh, that was not a clean game by any means. That was not a flawless game from either team and not by MU. So they have to start fixing that. What mistakes did they do? What did they give away to USA that could have risked them losing that game? Because that game could have gone either way for sure.
Yep. And of course, they honestly were so close to throwing it all away, and that's why you gotta
Mhm.
find every single win in a series. You gotta find what's wrong. You gotta improve on it. There's always this mindset of wanting to improve during the series. You can't say it's in the bag.
Mhm.
Honestly, like the moment you think you win, you're done. You're absolutely done.
Yeah, you'll be winning until you aren't. Is that
Mhm.
is that the saying? But yeah, in a best of three, it's a lot more cutthroat. And once again, it's all
Mhm.
about momentum here. If Sage can run it back and force a 1-1, they will have the momentum going into game three. They'll have the well, not really. It'll be mostly like psychological as well as the draft. They'll have a better idea of what MGS is lacking in that second game, which means they'll be able to respond better to what they'll be preparing in the third game. So let's hope that the University of San Agustin squad here can bring it back here because the mages they seem very very solid here going into this best of three series.
Let's not forget that Sage does have a few subs and like available if they should. But that being said, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna sub it in the series.
Mhm.
But aside from that, it's really dangerous to get mentally sucked in by the first game, whether it's the overconfidence that you gain in the second game or
Mhm.
the losing mindset. So you got to find a way to really like reset everything. Always think of it as
Mhm.
a best of one. Fight your best. Fight your best.
Mhm.
Think that this person is trying to steal your lunch money or something even worse. Just really fight back and always
Mhm.
find a way. Like always
Mhm.
find a way to be motivated. So you got to take that devil may cry Virgil mindset. You got to
Mhm.
find more power.
Gotta
You
get
got to
that
be more motivated.
Sigma male grind set coming in from Virgil. I need more power. But yeah, that's basically how I do it. And in a best of three, it's very short compared to a best of five, right? So you need to get that kind of mindset where every single game has to be a knockout, right? They have to follow that up. And I think for mages, their draft, I think they planned their draft well. They made sure that okay, let's at least survive until this comp goes really online, right? Because Oriana, Kaisa is usually the kind of comp where okay, we're trying to do a knockout during late game, during like 30 to 40 minutes is our time to shine. They have we use our Lee Sin to our fullest to make sure that we're not like like knocked out already in the early game. Meanwhile, the comp from USA, while it's very signature, they have to be finishing these games much faster. And once again, faster games doesn't just come from the individual skill of the players; it's also the synergy between them. Whether you can execute those finishing blows, those coup de grace, you have to be on the same page to coordinate that kind of assassination technique here. And with this new roster, yes, they do have the guidance of Coach Lunik. They do have the guidance of veteran players as well. But it's gonna be still very very hard to finish it off here.
Mhm. And aside from that, it is gonna be aside from like it's gonna be back to the drawing board for picks.
Maybe we'll
Considering
see. Yeah.
everything, considering
Mhm.
everything, we did realize that once again, MGS May just loves to play around Jacob.
Mhm.
We did realize that Sage Code 001 does have a solid top laner in the form of Cyanide,
Mhm.
but they really aside from and a really great bot lane in the form of Pards and Shinzo. But aside
Mhm.
from that, there I did realize that Cyanide. This is not to discredit Cyanide, but
Mhm.
this like he fares better with pure tanks in a sense. If you've noticed, like in terms of like statistically the performances that he does
Mhm.
on like pure tanks, with the Scions back then. Let's see what that would translate into in the recent patches, considering how the picks are completely turned around its head.
Yeah, the new patches ever since season 2 have really changed up what is like actually effective for this, and it might be also, but it's also adapting to new roster like Cyanide. Once again, yeah, performing more on those tanks. Pards has to get used to playing in bot lane, right? Like before, we had Genshin on the team or for USA, and together with Shinzo, they would just absolutely dominate and you could leave Genshin alone while Shinzo tries to go for a roam. But maybe they're still getting used to that as well. And maybe we'll see a returning face from season 1 NCO from Sage, from San Agustin Golden Eagles. We've got Belial in the subs. Of course, if you might know him better as Kaoru from season 1 of NCO. So maybe there's his secret weapon, and if in a best of 3 single elimination format like the playoffs of NCO, this might be the time to bring him out. But once again, a reversal of sides here. Sage chooses red side here, while mages are on the blue side for initiative on the draft. Gangplank still being taken out. Shen being taken out. They're trying to take away the map play potential here for mages, but mages is like, okay, we're just gonna ban out pretty much the same things that we banned out in the previous game. The strong picks.
Mhm. And that's a good call considering the fact that the Shen was stuck in top lane forever and ever, absolutely just staying there, like basically turning it into his vacation
Mm-hmm.
home because they could not push top lane at all, not a single bit. And it was because of Shen. Shen had stand united. He could stay there forever, considering he could just press R and move and get to the point there. But of course, the Oriana ban being taken away here from
Ooh,
Illyri, making
hard adaptation.
eerily, I mean, like making sure that they don't have a solid mid lane
Mhm.
mage, despite all the missed shockwaves. Eerily was such a threat
Mhm.
with the wave clear and the pokes and the presence alone, and of course Yuma picking in this Lee Sin for Invicta, just making sure that they get a really solid jungler this early.
Yeah, good blind pick. Okay, once again, no pun intended on the Lee Sin. Lee Sin is a pretty good blind pick on the jungle role. Very, very versatile. Can respond to most other popular junglers. And now for Sage being on red side, this is the moment of truth here. Because there we go. That's what I was waiting for. Are they going to sub out Rush there for Belial and bring out that secret weapon? Because he is a sub role as he's a jungler in the sub role here. So maybe we'll see a shift in paradigms here for the Golden Eagles. Maybe they'll take wing in this game, this best of 3 here. Immediate lock in on the Leona. They want to go aggressive. They want to go in. What are they going to lock in here for their second pick? Graves.
Signature,
Graves
signature.
signature. And that is part of the San Agustin identity from season 2. Like Kinshi was playing Graves pretty well, and now it's going to be in the hands of Belial here, or Kaoru for all you old timers there. And Graves, we haven't really been seeing too much Graves. It is up there in like the top 6 popular picks for 11.17, 11.18, but it's really usually overshadowed by Xinjiao and Trundle and Diego. But with 2 of those, 3 of those banned out, or 2 of those banned out, they don't want to pick up Diego. Lisa's already picked up. Graves is definitely an in here. Alistar, Ezreal here from the mages. This is a pretty scary bot lane against a Leona.
Yep, and of course the Silas being picked here, just making sure that they do have a lot of presence in the fight alone, considering how Silas goes. But aside from that, this Alistar is actually a good reaction pick against the Leona. Every time that you do a Zenith Blade, you have the potential to be separated from your carry. A single headbutt can change the game, and a single pulverize can completely destroy you from the get-go. After the Zenith Blade, headbutt away the carry, and then wail on the Leona. Easy enough. That's the game plan. It's not rocket science, basically.
Yeah, it's not rocket surgery, as some people would put it as well. The Silas blind pick here kind of worries me. Like usually I'd want to pick Silas once I know that the opposing team already has very solid ultis. Like Indomitable isn't really a drop dead ulti for Silas to steal. Dragon's Rage is pretty good. The True Shock Barrage is kind of okay as a finisher, but it's not really something that I'd be like dying to steal as a Silas here. But this might be like a deterrent pick. By picking up the Silas early, they tell mages, go ahead, pick an impactful ultimate. We're gonna yoink it. Okay. They got the vein going. They banned out these mages that could potentially like screw up the vein when she tumbles forward. No Rune Prison, no Miasma. Sage is going in hard for this game too.
Going hard in the paint, and look at that. That is going to be insane. But of course, Eerily gets the LeBlanc. They've been banning out this LeBlanc for a while, but now finally they get their hands on. MGS may just gets their hands on it after Sage lets it open. But admit picking the Darius for Yuma, which means, or at least hovering around it, would mean that they want to go. Okay. Irelia is also pretty good.
I don't want to see another Darius, man.
You don't want to see another.
Every time Darius gets picked up, every time Darius gets picked up, it's such a one-note. It's not a one-note champ. If he gets behind, he's absolutely useless. Gnar! The Gnars we've seen haven't really performed too well, but Gnar is a versatile top laner, you know. It's not. Its ulti is good, but it's not a knockout blow in the hands of Silas. Right? Could go for like a abscond into the Gnar ultimate, but it's a more steps than what other Silas ultimates could bring to the table. So yeah, I think mages kind of responded well to the Silas lock-in here with the LeBlanc. And for sure, Sage with the Wukong here. So they really want to go in very hard on this comp. Once again, signature Sage, signature Golden Eagles. Meanwhile, mages, this is a little bit more, this is a little bit less well-rounded than a previous comp here. But I do like the inclusion of the Alistar and the Gnar. It allows them to get some really good disengages and counter engages when they need to.
Yep. And aside from that, we do realize that one of the problems of the Gnar pick before in the previous matches of this season was, from what I noticed, not really playing around the Rage as well. Appearing on map where the Rage isn't fully utilized. You know, when you're holding it at 90 forever and ever, and then like you go to a team fight, and then that's when you start like turning into Gnar. That's where it becomes really tricky. But aside from that, let's see how Yuma is going to play around it. Considering we've noticed he's pretty damn solid when it comes to having the team fight awareness every single time, and always gets the pick off that you need. But now the story here is, how is Sage going to play with all these comfort picks from the looks of it? The fact that we see the Graves, something that's not really in favor in this patch, but the fact that Belial's picking it means that he's absolutely comfortable with it. You have parts with the Vayne, which is such a statement, to be honest.
Yeah, that's confidence.
That's absolute confidence, because that's pure mechanical skill at its finest. Let's see how you can play around that. But this time, let's see how Shinzu can admit how to play Leona.
Because the solar flares weren't like life or death coming in from admit. Maybe Shinzu, because Shinzu is used to playing these kinds of engaged heavy supports. I think that's just part of the identity of the roster as a whole here. But once again, all this comfort, all this all in here. They have the Wukong, of course. They have the Leona. The Silas can come in, like maybe abscond into Gnar Ultimate or Dragon's Rage. It's gonna be hard to lock down Italy and Jacob on these champions. You know, LeBlanc. We don't know. I mean, we don't need to tell you how mobile and slippery an escape artist like LeBlanc can be, and of course Jacob very safe on that. Ezreal able to arcane shift, so maybe even when you get the CC on him, if he's already started casting the arcane shift, he's gonna get away most likely. So you're gonna have to really layer your CC on top of him after he like blinks away. So a lot of the nuances of this matchup here between these two comps. I do think that just from the wow factor of picking up the Vayne, I think Sage is on their A game right now. They took off the baby gloves, they put Kaoru, they put Belial in, and now they're gonna try and take back this best of 3 from the mages.
They're really gonna try because once again, game two is if game one is the statement, game two is the momentum holder.
Mhm.
Whoever
Mhm.
this is where you either stop whatever momentum the enemy team has, or uh, or the enemy team continues. Like this is where
Mhm.
Sage
Just rolls over.
stops. Yeah, this is where Sage tries to stop the momentum, but MGS mages they have no business like trying to stop their own momentum because
Mhm.
they want that. They definitely want that, and you don't think like they don't think that Sage deserves to have a little bit of a crumb because that's not how you treat your opponents. You're gonna make
Yeah,
sure that you're
exactly.
gonna move forward, run them
Mhm.
over. To quote Mickey from Rocky, "You're built like a tank, Rocky. You gotta run him over."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Basically,
And that does seem like the comp here for mages. They're the ones that are going to be moving from the front to the back. And can you imagine what waves it'll make here when the mages who lost against the champions of Metro last season win against the champions of Vismin from last season? That's going to be a statement for this playoffs of NCO season 3. So both of these teams have a lot of vested interest in just getting away with a 2-1 in this game, of course, or 2-0 in the case of MGS Mages here. It's going to be very, very exciting. And both of these organizations, San Agustin Golden Eagles and the Mapua Gaming Society, these two are very prestigious organizations. They've been with AcadArena in the alliance for quite a while, of course. And if you want to bring esports to your school, the AcadArena Alliance program is here for you. Just check out acadarena.com/alliance. You'll get exclusive tournaments, mentorship, event support, and the Globe Esports Merit Scholarship. Bring esports to your org. Legitimize esports in your campus. Let's get going. Game 2, MU, Mapua University, MGS Mages versus University of San Agustin, Sage Code 001. Game 2, let's go.
let's see the chat go crazy once again. Let's put that hashtag MGS win and hashtag Sage win to show support. Give them the energy to spirit bomb the hell out of their opponents, guys, because this is gonna be another bloodbath. None of them are gonna give a single limb, considering how bloody game one was. I think this one's gonna even be more exciting, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, they've got Belial on the Graves right now. They've got the Vayne on the field. Meanwhile, you see a lot of playmaking potential here with the Lee Sin and the LeBlanc. There's going to be one exciting game 2 starting off. It seems like once again, both of these junglers starting on the bottom side of the map. Blue for Belial, and it's going to be red for Invicta. Might be seeing a lot of attention onto mid lane, top lane. As for this bot lane, it's going to be the usual. It's going to be Jacob and Admit trying to stop Shinzo from getting early level 2, because that's got a really big power spike in lane for Liliona. So we're gonna have to see how that goes in the bot lane.
And no crazy movement once again.
Mhm.
We see both junglers are moving towards two different methods here, as we could see that
Mhm.
Invicta is
Buff to
already
buff.
moving straight to his blue buff rather than going for the full clear. And on
Mhm.
the other hand, Belial is looking like he wants to go for the full clear instead. And immediately the early harassment here from Eerily is gonna go against Pops here.
Mhm. They're just really leveraging the matchup pre-6, Pops, and even post-6. I think Early is going to have a pretty good time facing off against Pops, dodge the abscond, just poke him from range as well, go in with a distortion to put that damage out. I think that's just how the lane is going to go. A lot of it's going to depend on whether Invicta or Belial is the one more impactful mid lane. But considering it's going to be Graves, I don't think he's going to make too many hard moves on that mid lane here. It's really going to go for the power farm, get that damage, get that carry potential going. Meanwhile, Invicta, he wants to go for those ganks. We see him already hovering around top side here. Yuma is going to get his rage back up in perfect time.
There's the wallop coming in here, and Cyanide might be in trouble. We get the first blood this early on. I think MGS Mages is saying that we got the hard read on y'all, and it's gonna be USA on the back foot this time, considering the fact that Yuma the last time was holding his own really well against Cyanide, and it seems like top lane is gonna be the point of contention here.
Good thing for Cyanide is he has teleport now. Or he has teleport, so he can just get back to lane there. Perfect timing here, Belial.
Oh God, Belial chased it down, but that's just a little bit of damage. It's not going to be enough to really dissuade.
He still has to corrupt pot, thankfully. This does mean, okay, a little bit of a shots here onto Belial, force the flash.
Oh no, the flash away! No. Now that was unfortunate. That's what you describe unfortunate, and once again, we've seen this movie before. MGS Mages catching USA's over-aggression a little too early. Really good mid-map rotations here from the solo lanes, considering they did know that Belial was there. Invicta was in the area, so all they had to do was call up their homies and just pull up on this guy.
Yeah, really not sure why Belial insisted on going for the scuttler there, because for sure it's got to be the Gnar that has priority there. Invicta's probably around the corner looking for a drive-by, and Irelie has the priority against this Sylas for sure. And that was pretty much a bad donated double buffs to Irelie, which means Pop's probably lane's probably dead for the next few minutes here, which means this Irelie can clear the wave and go for roams later whenever he wants to.
And there it is. It does look like Cyanide gave away a little bit of like aggression there, but now Pops once again at 1 HP. Afterwards, this double buff LeBlanc is not what you want to deal with at 4 minutes in. My God. But now Pards is going to be on the back foot, considering he is a Vayne against an Ezreal. Going to get poked to Kingdom Come. But let's see what the dive is going to look like. But Pops dodges both massive skills there from the mid and
Sonic Wave would have killed him right there.
Absolutely.
So he does have the teleport to get back to lane, but he's still losing quite a bit as Irelie pushes up. And of course, Irelie is gonna make sure he leverages that double buff as much as he can. Probably just recall here, get his gold, utilize the gold lead above Pops here, and then just walk back to lane pretty fast if you're a LeBlanc. So it's gonna be still evenly matched here topside despite the assist. It is just Gnar versus Wukong. Has to be careful. Blues, it's gonna be MU taking away the Drake here. It's pretty much theirs. First Drake is theirs. After that kill on here, Irelie, and of course with Vayne, pre-6 Vayne and Leona here, pretty much that bot lane is free. That bot lane Drake is free.
All the priority in the world, belongs to MGS Mages right now. It's absolutely tragic how like a single move can catch you with your pants down and does that. But once again, we've seen how Sage plays around all the loss of momentum. They know how to bounce back, and let's see with these new picks, can it be facilitated even better than the last time?
That's sad seeing the trade go that way. It's gonna be Overrise no more headbutt around there because he needed to use it to gap close. But yeah, this lane is going as expected. After level 2, it's going to be the Alistar and Ezreal show because it's going to get poked down here if Pards even walks up, and Shinzo can't really because Pards hasn't recalled, hasn't gotten any items yet. And Vayne's base stats are pretty bad compared to other marksmen. Here, Pops forced to go into Null Magic Mantle just to not explode in lane. This pretty much means Pops is relegated to a role of being useful later in the game instead of right now.
But they're all coming in here, and Pops is gonna tick away with help. Oh my goodness, he was about to use the passive.
He tried so hard to regen HP.
Yeah, he tried so hard. He's trying to use the passive to regen a little bit of HP there. but instead he gets taken out there. And there's the Sonic Wave that hits, but Belial's waiting at the wings, and there's gonna be the spin here from Wukong, and that is gonna be the punishment coming in here from Sage as Cyanide takes down one, and it's gonna be two afterwards because Yuma tries to gnar away, but the dash in afterwards is gonna be the Nimbus, and it's gonna be Cyanide with a double kill and a Wukong with 2 kills in lane. That could spell disaster in the future.
Big momentum shift. It's not as big of a momentum shift as USA would want. Wukong is not really the star of the show, depending on how. Okay, he does have the Sheen at that point, so he really made full use of the dash there, the small blink there during the decoy to lure that Lee Sin over, force him into a position where he is between two Wukong, so that that ulti is gonna hit for sure, and allows Belial to get that damage in. Keep that Lee Sin locked down with those knockups, and let Belial deal his damage. And even if that was pre-6, Belial so is still able to get the kill there. Thankfully, Cyanide was already 6. Pop's gonna take more damage here. He's gonna get finished off for sure. Yeah, kind of sad.
Big catch. This might be the eerily show at this point, considering that LeBlanc can take over a game, and this looks like it might be the case, unless USA has something in mind. Sage is such a good team, even when it comes to bouncing back. So let's see how they can bounce back against the momentum here against MGS Mages, because the MGS Mages was already skirting the line at the first at the first game, but they did follow through, considering Jacob was practically untouched and practically unkillable. But this time, seems like Sage. Oh my goodness, they're looking for the first Rift Herald. Lunik did put emphasis on first Rift Herald as much as possible, because that is plating, that is money, that is all kinds of beautiful things.
Ooh, they give over control to USA here. Yeah, I was expecting them to be okay with giving it to MU, since even though Cyanide does have 2 kills, yeah, he does have his ultimate now, but it's still gonna be pretty hard for Pops and Pops to get in. But otherwise, Serrated Dirt on Belial means that they can actually fight this 4v4. Shinzo with a Solar Flare could really change the tide of that battle. So I think MU makes the read, okay, I think we can give this Rift Herald to them now. They really want it. We don't want to risk giving Pops a shutdown, do we? So let's back out. Rift Herald is fine. We got the first Drake. So trade it out, investment for the future. Maybe we'll pick up this other Drake coming up right now.
Yep, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And thank goodness it's not going to be Infernal Soul, but it is an increase in damage that is going to pay off in the later stages of the game, having this first Infernal Drake this early on. But yeah, once again, USA does like to fight for first Rift Herald. It is something that their coach did emphasize in his analysis in the previous season. There's a lot of things that you can benefit from it. The plating, the map control, and everything else is so beautiful. That early on, and the extra gold too, the Ignite being popped here, and Pops has to back off because, oh my goodness, the entire guy was there.
They want him. They want this next Drake. Depending on the next Drake and how the rest of the Rift will be, it's gonna be Gnar Ultimate though.
That Gnar Ultimate being popped here. Oh my goodness, that Venn diagram of death would have been so dangerous had it been a few inches a bit further.
So it's 50-50 here, ocean or mountain. If it's mountain, I expect USA to put a little bit more value in it. All right, so they're gonna try and leverage their top side, get some platings out. Yuma though taking a lot of damage here. I don't think he wants to stay here because he's far away from Mega Gnar.
This is a good idea, apparently.
It's a trade. This should secure some plating for Belial, though. You want to give that gold onto the Graves, but here comes early.
Speaking of good ideas, trying to pick off Belial, getting a free red buff out of it. I know the auto attacks from LeBlanc isn't going to be enough, but that is going to be a little bit of extra tilting factor, knowing that you're being repeatedly applied with red buff in lane.
Pretty much what happens, because it's pretty much a trade. Platings, Belial gets some platings, Cyanide gets a few of them. It's pretty much like a 2-for-2 in a way, but it's a little bit more valuable for MU because they want to keep this LeBlanc as relevant as long as possible, right? So coming in, it seems like MU is pretty much, it's kind of leaning in their favor right now. They have a very small gold lead, 1.5k at 12 minutes is still pretty relevant. They have 2 Drakes. At that point, I do think it's going to be Ocean as well. So might be a little bit more important for MU than it is for USA coming into this, because I do think that the Ocean Drake doesn't help USA as much as it does MU.
Unless it's a long-winded fight. If it's
Mhm.
Ocean Soul, long-winded fights become favorable to the people
Mhm.
who do
Definitely.
have Ocean Soul. So this is going to be one of those things that you have to play around to. If USA gets 4 Ocean Drakes, that spells disaster for sieging and map control
Mhm.
in favor of MGS, considering the fact that they could just regen literally everything back in, I don't know, 2 seconds.
For the most part, I think now, 13 minutes into the game, we're seeing already a lot of. We already saw a lot of roams from both supports here. Pop's really playing with fire here. He does at least have starting to build up onto his items, but he doesn't have this mythic. Meanwhile, Early is happily running around with the Ludens. So yeah, it's gonna be
Solar Flare Yuma
perfect
takes
jump
over.
there. Perfect jump there. That would have been another kill and possibly first turret. And I do think that USA is willing to leave Pards alone. He has Immortal Shield Bow, so even yeah, that's gonna be the definite trade-off here. Can they kill
Can they kill it
Pards?
this early on? The exhaust being popped out here, and of course the final hour being utilized, but a little too late at that point. The stun lock was a little too strong, and Eerily at the side gets another solo kill against Pops. This is going to be insane. They might actually even get Cyanide here, because the TP was a little too haphazard. But as I say
One
that,
for
that
one.
mid gets taken down, so that's going to be a 2-for-1 all across the map. And it seems like Cyanide's looking for a little reposition. His fight's not done yet. He looks like he wants to continue it, but of course they do. All of them do back off, and I think first turret will go to Eerily or to Yuma at this point.
That's a pretty bad deal for USA. They lose plates topside. They lose a lot of damage onto the top side. They give Cyanide a kill, which is starting to make this Wukong pretty scary. But Wukong, despite the gap closes, without the flash, gonna make it hard to stick onto Eerily and Jacob. He's gonna have to really go front to back here instead of diving onto Eerily and Jacob, which could spell disaster for a team fight or skirmish involving USA. They lose top turret here. First turret on top of that.
Mhm.
It's a 2-for-1 in favor of MU. They lose a lot of turret play health mid and top, or they lost the top turret entirely. It's a pretty bad deal. When I said that they're willing to leave Pards alone with the Immortal Shield Bow to survive as long as possible, I was thinking that USA maybe had an idea to set up a trade topside. Because if you leave a Vayne alone bot side, you know he's gonna get dove 4v1. So I thought that USA had something set up for top or even mid, but it just didn't happen. MU moved too quickly for them to set that up.
It's honestly a reactionary. It seems like everything's reactionary here in USA's side, but on the other hand, MGS Mages seems like they're being the proactive team. They're actively looking for every single joint to exploit, every little weakness that they could break, and USA having a hard time catching up at this point.
But of course, it is a Vayne comp with pretty decent front line. They've got Silas and Wukong to. Despite them not being as tanky as dedicated tanks, they still have a lot in their favor with Divine Thunder. Oh,
no,
Pops.
Pops. Is this a good idea? I think it might be a bad idea, but he does have the Gnar available should he choose to use it. But instead, he's not gonna be going at it yet. His health's a little too low, but that leaves Pards all
Kinda
alone
mid
and
lane
open,
turret.
and mid lane turret might be taken away, but then Jacob has to back away, knowing that there might be threats at this point. After 5 seconds, if you don't know where your enemies are, they might be close to you. But instead, they're taking the dragon.
Is it gonna be? Yeah, it's a Herald for Drake take here. Ocean is gonna get picked up. Second Herald picked up here by MU, and with it in the hands of Yuma, and he's itching to try and take down the top lane turret. He might not use it immediately, but if they leave this Gnar alone, it might be a good time to use it. It does seem like they are converging around this top side of the map here. Could actually use that. They do pull the trigger. There's going to be a lot of damage onto this top lane. What is USA? Are they just going to go for a straight up response here?
Oh
It's going to be a
my
3v5 if they try to go
gonna,
for it.
This is gonna be a big fight as they
Pards
go for the
low.
stuns. Oh my goodness, Pards is 1 HP, literally 1 HP in a dream, and he doesn't even have the dreams finished. Pards never got to play the game this entire time, with a big pick off here with MGS Mages going at it.
Ooh, that is rough. Pards kind of tumbled into a lot of the MU's damage there. And like I said, if MU was committing topside 5 members and Rift Herald, I was wondering what USA was going to trade for it. They were split apart 3 and 2. With Cyanide and Belial being bot lane here, so they tried to go for a three-man defense. They got caught out there while they were trying to rotate, and the rest is history. MU gets top lane inner turret, almost deletes the top lane inhib turret, but not quite. Taking down the inhib, which is actually good at this stage in the game. They don't want to take down the inhib right now, but having a very wounded inhib turret might be more pressure than a down inhib could be against USA.
This is gonna be big for them. This is gonna be big here for MGS Mages. They already, as you said, like the mental momentum on stage, they're thinking about defending. They're gonna have to play a really monotonous game at this point, constantly just trying to fend off, whatever waves MGS Mages is gonna throw at them, and they're gonna have to think about putting farm on Pards, because Pards right now only has an Immortal Shield bow. Even at 18 minutes, yes, that's already pretty good, but at the same time, you want your Vayne to have at least 3 items if you want to fight. But right now, MGS Mages looks like they want to fight even further, and they want to fight deep. So let's see what Sage Code 001 can do here, because this is not a good look for game 2.
Yeah, they want to try and extend this as long as possible, right? 150 CS at 18 and a half minutes is not on par for a farm-heavy marksman like Vayne. That is behind schedule, pretty much, in terms of gold. And MU knows this. MU knows that, okay, we have a 4-1 Lee Sin, we have a 5-0 LeBlanc. We need to leverage this, and we need to pinch that USA nerve as much as possible before that Vayne gets the second and third items for their build, right? So MU is just playing to their win conditions here, playing to preventing the win condition of USA, because this Graves hasn't really snowballed. The Wukong plateaued at 4-2-0, hasn't really found a big opportunity just yet. MU knows that they're in the driver's seat. MU knows that they have to be in the driver's seat, because later USA could wrestle it from them.
And right now, USA is not having a good time trying to play around the split push here. I think they're trying to let Pop split push because he does have the mobility to escape and whatnot, and he's also starved in farm. But that being said, Yuma once again is holding the fort. He's been holding the fort for since game 1. They've never pushed a single top lane turret ever since game 1 here for USA.
And that's really a testament to how Yuma is good. He might not excel at dominating top lane, but he is indomitable in that top lane. You can kill him once or twice, but you're not gonna get through his defenses. That's a statement that MU is making right now with their top laner. And look at that constant pressure on the top lane. Oh my god! Someone called the emergency hotline. Someone just got murdered.
Somebody just got absolutely murdered.
Belial's trying on Yuma.
Belial, they're gonna go for it. Are they gonna go for the flash? The solar flare gonna come out, and they're gonna use the Gnar. They commit 1 billion resources for this man. Is it really an investment though? Because it seems like the stocks are falling here in bot lane. Because Irelie and Invicta are gonna take, after that pickoff, they're gonna reward themselves with a beautiful bot lane turn.
Look at how, oh my god. Okay, let's take a look at this exact moment where his heartbeat stops, right? Like, Cyanide's like, oh, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna knock up Irelie. And then Irelia's like, no, I'm just gonna absolutely destroy you. He's got Sork boots on, completed Ludens and Zhonya's had a needlessly large rod at that point. Yeah, Cyanide had no chance with only plated steel caps, which does not help at all against Irelie.
More resistances would mean, absolute decimation. And now they have control for an Ocean Drake. I've seen this movie before. USA get the third Drake, and then MGS Mages gets the fourth Drake here. But let's see if they can turn this movie around. We're not going to see the same twist. Are they going to M. Night Shyamalan us here? Because they're going to catch off against Yuma. And this might be the trade. Top for Drake. Is this what you really want? The slows are coming in. There's the stuns. And everything else. The Gore Drinker buying a lot of time. And that is going to be Ocean Drake for MGS Mages. But Sage Esports is going to have to move towards moving the top lane. Because finally, they took down the top turret. But the catch-up, is it going to be here?
Oh man, I don't think... Oh, are they gonna catch Pops up? Oh no. Oh no, Early's already coming down here. He's serving up some Silas steak right now, and Early's gonna
Sorry,
try and eat
Pops.
it up. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
Pops
Pops.
goes down. Oh no.
This is
He's surviving
sad to
as long
watch.
as he
He's
can with
surviving. Oh my
Kingslayer.
goodness, he might even take a picture out of this. But no, instead the pick was gonna be onto Pops because Admit was at 1 HP, literally 1 HP! And Admit gets taken out by Belial. Belial, I mean, and now they're gonna go forward here as Early, the biggest threat in the history of the map right here, is gonna go forward, but instead backs off, knowing that that's a Leona. He does have slight resistances, not the best, but it's not. He's not gonna die in one shot.
That's Kingslayer for you, and yeah, that's pretty much him surviving as long as possible with Kingslayer. But I was like, okay, this is just done. The silver lining there was that Belial was able to get a kill on the backside of that to trade it out, so it was actually quite worth it for USA. But once again, look at all the few things USA is getting, right? They got a kill topside, they got 2 kills topside total, they got a tower. But who is this gold going to? Yeah, Belial, gold on Belial is pretty good, but I think USA would like it a lot more if Pards was getting all of that kill gold. And with them trading turret, all that kill gold, putting it on Cyanide and Belial, that's fine. But Drake's being taken by MU. Now they're pressuring Soul. They got a lot of turrets here. They might even freaking Baron at this point.
Fred, why not take it all together? That's gonna be what MGS Mages wants to do. And see, in all honesty, Pards is not battle ready. He only has 1 item. He only has 1 item in comparison to a whole Manamune and a
Still though.
yeah, and the what do you
He
call
could
this?
get shutdowns here. He could get shutdowns here if MU doesn't play their cards right. Because Leona Wukong here could disrupt the Baron take quite well.
Yuma has no rage. Yuma has no rage. This might be what they want.
Off. Yeah, they have to back off there. They cannot risk fighting that without Yuma's rage. They can't risk fighting that, continuing on that Baron. The resistance is shredded, they being damaged. Cyanide and Shinzo will eat that up. And if Pards gets a shutdown, like on Eerily, because if Eerily is not careful, he could burst down Pards 100 to 0. But if he's being harried by Shinzo and Cyanide, then it could be a 700 shutdown kill here for Pards, and they do not want to see that, so they back off.
Absolutely not. But aside from that, we do notice there's still signs of life here for Sage, for USA. They seem like they want to play around this as much as possible because. Once again, Vayne on farm duty, sure, I get it. You have to play as passively as possible because your Vayne's not ready. He's not battle ready, but you do have everyone else available, and you do have Gnarl. If I remember correctly, Gnarl is still available here for the side of USA, and they don't. Once again, there's no rage here for Yuma. I think he's holding on as much as possible. But aside from that, it's also Cyanide being chunked 1,000,000
Eerily,
HP.
though.
Eerily gets caught out. Is this what they want? This is gonna be a big pick if they do. But instead they don't. The 2-man mission sneak here from Invicta and Jacob. This is really smart from them. No vision, no nothing, and they get the Baron for absolutely free.
I think they skipped the Scuttler Shrine there and try to go for a sneaky mission there. Good. I think that's a good read there by MU. They realize that they can't all be on Baron because that's an easy recipe to get screwed up by Shinzo and Cyanide's CC and damage from Belial and Cyanide, and letting Pards get those shutdowns. So they kind of like distribute their assets evenly. They make sure that if they all in on, or rather they can't go all in on the pit because MU has their flanks covered. They're not just all focused on the Baron there. And now that they have the Baron buff, they can really start hammering down on these inhibitor turrets.
And I think in 2 straight games, Jacob has never died. And he has 2 items, the final hour being utilized, but I don't think that's going to be enough. My goodness, Pardzek gets away with 1 HP, and that might be what they want. There's Wukong going into the spin, and that's going to be big for them. But instead, they see the Gnar ult being utilized. Cyanide trying to go for it. The stopwatch being stopped, and there is going to be a lot of chaos coming in here. As Cyanide is the first target to fall. There's the Solar Flare coming out, and Invicta auto rampage. That's Lee Sin has been paying off really well, and Belial gets jumped for 1,000,000 HP. And this is going to be MGS Mages. I think they're going to end at this point on forward.
And a huge wave. 2 Baroned up cannon minions. They are crashing down on the inhib. 30 seconds. Pards is not going to be able to defend this on its own. 20 seconds now on the clock. MU, they have a lot of damage on these turrets. This is going to come down, and 10 seconds on the clock left for USA means that MU is able to finish them off. Coup de grace. Game 2 finishes off with a 2-0 in this best of 3 in favor of the Mages, and they cut down the champions of Vismin. And Mages, looking to make their mark on history, redeem themselves by falling a little bit short from last season. Now they're poised to go into the semifinals.
That looks real good for them. That's good. They're going for the jugular at this point. This is nasty. This is big nasty here for MGS Mages. They're looking so good against USA.
I want to break down that last team fight, even if we might not have a replay, right? Cards tries to go for a Hail Mary duel. That's fine. I think at this point, a 0-2-0 2-item or 1.5 item Vayne can duel an Ezreal with cleanse, right? I think that was possible. But at that point, the rest of the squad goes in, and both of them were low HP. But a low HP Ezreal is 10 times more useful than a low HP Vayne, because an Ezreal can stay back and pepper them with mystic shots, right? A Vayne can't do that. Vayne tumbles up out of invisibility at 10% HP. She gets absolutely demolished. But Ezreal can just go on suppressive fire, get that poke out with long range mystic shots. And once again, USA, that was actually not a 4v4 with both marksmen kind of off the fight. That was like a 5v3. And then the mid lane here, Pops, was late to the party. So it was a 5v3 that became a 5v4, and it all just cascades from there.
And it was technically still a 5v3, considering the fact that Cyanide was so tunneled in on Jacob right there. Jacob once again, a deathless run, as per usual. Like, this is so impressive from this man. He's been doing nothing but impress the rest of the country right here. And right now, MGS Mages with 2-0 is absolutely demoralizing in a sense. But at the same time, this might be a statement from MGS Mages. We can hang with champions. We can bang with champions. What's next? Who's next, basically?
Oh man, that was tough to watch there. I was so excited to see Kaoru back in action as Belial, but it just didn't happen for him. And I think they need to reassess how they go about these games. Maybe the USA Iloilo playstyle doesn't jive as well with late season 11. You know, maybe because I know Lunix's a very competent coach, and I know that he's crafted both of these drafts knowing that this is in style for USA and this is how they play best. But maybe it's a time to reassess those. Maybe the roster isn't the same as it was for season 2. That dominated Vismin. Meanwhile, for the Mages, wow, they just blew it out of the water.
Absolutely, they just completely destroyed everything in place, and it honestly is how do I describe it? It honestly is one of the best possible things that you could see as a match, and it really is going to be a real dangerous game between the three of them, and it seems like they are going to have to discuss everything else. And for now, we're going to go on a short break between all of us here. You guys are watching National Campus Open for League of Legends. I am Ernest Yorfa. Keeps on here with me is Hiron. We're going to go on a short break. See you guys in a while.
Sunod na taon, pati menu nadagdagan.
Nax, may squid balls na!
Mahal kasi ang lapis. May kikyaw pa dyan.
Bilib na bilib ako kay Manong Fishball. Akalain mong yung maliit niyang kariton, napalaki niya ng ganon?